Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to the Movies and TV Show. Now, I'm quite a reasonable guy, but let me just ask you this question for the people who are going to delve in the comments down below, and I'd love you to give me your opinions on this. If you were trying to sell the latest Bond film, would you be saying shit like this? Give me a moment. The Hollywood Reporter, James Bond, producer and Barbara Broccoli says, it's time 007 reflected more gender equitable sensibility. But why? Because in real life we all have that sensibility towards all our different genders and we respect them, right? But it's a film. It's one genre that the character necessarily doesn't respect women. Surely that's okay when there's kind of multiple variety of genres and movies and television shows that do respect women. Does this have to change? No, it doesn't, in my opinion. I think people are coming around with some kicking and screaming to accepting that this stuff is no longer acceptable, thank goodness. It's interesting, you know, with Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, because I've met them before and I've spoken to them before, and they love Bond. And they've been behind most of these Bond movies. But when we talk about strong women, right, we go back to a long history. I mean, License to Kill had a strong woman. Pam Bouvier was a CIA agent, very strong woman. GoldenEye had a very strong woman as the, you know, the main Bond female. Let's not call them Bond girls because they don't like that anymore, right? And then most of Brosnan's films had strong women in them as well. And even, you know, Daniel Craig's era, Casino Royale, you know, the main Bond female who ends up dead and he ends up falling in love with, and she's got this big secretive past. She was a strong female. The same with Quantum of Solace. The same with Skyfall. You know, all the females have been pretty strong in Bond for probably the past, what, 10, 15 years? So I don't understand where this is suddenly coming from. It's just virtue signalling, but it puts Bond fans off because Bond fans don't give a shit about this nonsense. And when we talk about the Me Too era, what's going to put Bond fans off more than that word, that company, that dodgy company, by the way? Then we go on. Producers Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli weren't concerned that Cary Fukunaga would be the first American to direct James Bond. Who cares? His films are such a diverse group of achievements and show a great way of dealing with actors and telling stories. Don't forget, this guy replays Danny Boyle, one of the great directors of our time, right? And clearly he wasn't interested in this SJW bullshit. Latasha Lynch, who stars as 00 agent Nomi on Cary Fukunaga's No Time to Die. It was really important to empower the female characters as standalones. I don't feel like Nomi as a young black woman was constantly standing behind the white guy. Oh dear, 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 dear. This is the kind of nut job stuff you hear. But let's be honest about this. Millions of Bond fans around the world will hear this. And, you know, they're going to get triggered because it's nonsense, right? Nonsense, right? I don't care if you stand side by side of Bond or behind him. It's irrelevant to me, but this is the problem. And let's talk about young black woman. As a young black woman, one of the most represented minorities in entertainment today, right? Should she be even represented in a Bond film? We've actually had black Bond females before as well. That's interesting. Why don't we have a few more Latino ones? That would be true inclusion and representation. This is bullshit. And by the way, she's the new 007, which is even worse. I want to preface this by telling you, months ago I saw No Time to Die. I have my opinions, but I don't want to, you know, try and do a Pied Piper thing where I try and tell you it's a bad movie. Make your own minds up. I can't wait till everyone in the UK gets to see it next week. This is the funny one. Cary Fukunaga on bringing in Phoebe Waller-Bridge to make James Bond more modern. It's a story about a white man as a spy in this world, but you have to be willing to lean in and do the work to make the female characters more than just contrivances. Why? 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 It's about the white guy. It's about James Bond. So who gives a fuck about the... Let's be honest about it. Who gives a fuck about the female characters in James Bond? I'm not going to pretend anymore. I'm not going to sit here saying, oh yeah, we must represent women. No, right? Women are represented very well in the 21st century, right? In entertainment. And that's great. They get their own leads, their own stories, although we did already have movies like Silence of the Lambs and The Accused and many more featuring strong female leads. It's not like they've invented the fucking wheel or anything, right? But this is terrible. I never thought this kind of wording would be used to promote a James Bond film. They are in big, big trouble. And they're only making a rod for their own back. So it really, look, really disappointing. I'm very disappointed in Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli because they don't even believe in this shit. Barbara grew up on the set of all those Bond movies that her father Cubby was producing. If it wasn't for his vision, we wouldn't have any Bond films. So the kind of shit that they're doing with this film, and I mean, Phoebe Waller-Bridge being involved, you know, in the last minute in a Bond film, you might as well walk the fucking Antichrist into church because she is part of the fraternity who have been after basically castrating James Bond for 20, 30 years. This is how much the character offends these people. Now, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a very talented person and she's probably written some great stuff for the movie, but there was no need to bring her in. No wonder Danny Boyle walked. This film is going to be an absolute clusterfuck. This is going to be The Last Jedi. But let me be absolutely clear. When I go and watch a Bond movie or I buy it on Blu-ray or DVD, you know what I want to see? I want to see James Bond being awesome, fighting people, saving the world, shagging women, smoking cigars, smoking his drink, martini shaken, not stirred. That's what I want to see. Now, if that kind of bullshit offends you, don't watch it. Because women and women of colour are represented very well these days in the broader media or in the broader medium of entertainment. And I've never heard so much nonsense. Let me know in the comments down below. Is this how you would promote a Bond movie? I love women in bikinis. I love seeing Bond having, you know, shagging these women. I ain't got a problem with it whatsoever, but I wouldn't. Because I'm an alpha male. And mostly, alpha males love James Bond. So basically, you're taking the heads of the fans, who are mostly alpha males, right? And you're saying you're not going to get what you used to get. James Bond is dead. It's very sad, and it's very interesting with Amazon taking the lead now, owning MGM. How long will Wilson and Broccoli survive as heads of this franchise? Already saying we're not interested in streaming shows for James Bond or spin-offs. How unambitious can you get? After fucking up the He-Man and Masters of the Universe franchise, Netflix have found another classic kind of story universe to fuck up and bring in kicking and screaming to the 21st century with their SJW politics. Netflix acquisition of Roald Dahl Story Company would seem to represent an avenue toward everything the streamer wants to do, as it looks beyond its core business. Its core business isn't that successful in terms of unknown things that they produce and make, so they're going to take Roald Dahl, a storyteller that SJWs hate to bits. They're going to take his story, cut it to pieces, and basically do their social justice storytelling. We all know that. They're going to fuck up. Roald Dahl was a great storyteller, and they're going to fuck up what he did. And it's a big shame, and I'm sure his kids or kid or grandkids are going to make a lot of money out of the sale, but this is not good whatsoever. Now, in other news, Warner Brothers is charting an early return to the Wizarding World. The newly titled Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore will open globally on April the 15th, 2022, moving up 3 months from its previously July the 15th date, because they know in July, where that's where you release the big movies, this movie is simply not going to do the business. This franchise, the Harry Potter franchise, was one of the biggest in the business, and they fucked it up. And what was the mistake? J.K. Rowling is a great novelist, but there's a difference between being a great novelist and being a script writer, you know, writing for film. It's a big difference, and she just doesn't know the nuances of doing it. I mean, I liked the first Fantastic Beasts. I think that worked. I don't know who was kind of ghostwriting it for her, because they must have done right. But the second film was a mess. The motivations for some of the characters and the stuff they did was just so confusing. So they're calling it Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore. Why? Because they know Harry Potter fans are mad on Dumbledore, and this is going to bring people to the movie, or so they hope. This is a big shame. This really is. How can the Potter franchise be fixed where they need to bring Dan Radcliffe and the original cast in and continue the Harry Potter saga from where they left off? That's the only thing they can do, because it's an absolute mess. You know, these people just don't have any idea. And J.K. Rowling, although saved Potter, the original series, by not having it in a wizarding school in California or America, I agree with that. But ultimately, as a script writer, you know, just because you write novels, it doesn't mean you can write scripts. There's different sensibilities involved, and there lies the problem. And this is where she messed up and the studio messed up. And it can be fixed, and hopefully when Discovery take over, they can put someone in charge of it, because, you know, J.K. Rowling's cancelled. And whether you agree or disagree with what she said, I agree that she has the right to say whatever she wants, but in this society today, you don't. And I don't know enough about the subject matter to start saying, yeah, she's right. I don't know. So I don't want to get into it. But yeah, that's something else to laugh about. By the way, this creatively bankrupt industry is rebooting Michael Landon's classic Highway to Heaven. It's rebooting and remaking the classic Costner movie and Whitney Houston movie, what's it called again? The Bodyguard, of course. You know, so they aren't willing to be original, to create great originality, and everything they remake and reboot is about identity politics, about putting a minority in. You know, instead of that dreaded white man or that white woman, that's all they care about. We heard the language from Fukunada. Is that his name? Fukunada. Sorry, I got his name wrong, right? We're talking about a white man, and, you know, the female actor in the new 007 saying, it's good to see that the black woman wasn't standing behind the white man. It's absolute nonsense. I tell you what, Daniel Craig, I'm more than happy as a Greek Cypriot to stand fucking behind you. Give me strength. You know, talk about Highway to Heaven. Do you remember Highway to Heaven? Michael Landon plays an angel sent down to basically fix things, and he travels with this normal guy. I forgot his name actually, but he was literally, he'd always worked with him. Michael Landon was a legend, and that's a great show. I used to cry at the end of each show. It was great. These people will fuck it up. They'll probably make it into a comedy or something. What we've seen today on today's movie and TV show is that Hollywood and entertainment is in trouble. It's being buried in its own insanity, and bankruptcy looms. What's the future for entertainment in English-speaking languages? Foreign movies with subtitles, or foreign movies adapted to English-speaking movies. That's the future. There's no variety, there's no interest in originality. Their main focus is on streaming, which is a big mistake as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, streaming is the now. You can suck loads of money out the market now, but streaming won't always be the thing. Cinemas will be back. Things will change with the internet, believe you me. In 50 years' time, the internet might be null and void. The technology may not work. It may not be as popular as it is now. Who knows, mate, what happened? And you're putting your eggs in this one basket. There is no intelligence in the industry anymore, and some of the stuff I hear them say about identity politics astounds me. It's embarrassing, and, you know, as I say, make your own mind up about No Time to Die, but I think we are looking at this year's The Last Jedi, and I can't wait for the funeral. This has been the Movies and TV Show. I'm Mick, your host with the most. I will see you tomorrow with more videos. Until then, goodbye.